Poison Ivy is one of the most powerful women in the DC universe. But how did she get to that point? Join me on day 8 of my Superhero Pride Month challenge, and let's talk nerdy about the bisexual goddess of nature, Poison Ivy. But before we get into that, go ahead and leave your answer in the comments below to this question. Which diet of Poison Ivy makes the most sense to you? A sun-based diet, a fruitarian diet, or a carnivore diet? Poison Ivy made her first comic book appearance in Batman issue 181, and Pamela Isley was born with a rare skin condition that would harm her if she was in direct sunlight, so doctors gave her a special skin lotion to protect her. Unfortunately, Pamela had a very abusive father who refused to let her outside at all. The only time she was outside was when her mother was gardening, and Pamela found peace in that. But Pamela's father also abuses her mother, and every time he does, he buys her a new plant for her garden as an apology. And it's there that Pamela learned that plants can be used to manipulate people. Save that in the piggy bank for later. But one day her father gets so angry that he ends up murdering Pamela's mother, and he gets sent to life in prison. Superhero role, it happens every time. Despite the trauma, Pamela excelled in school, and in college she was able to create a pheromone pill that she used to manipulate the dean to help her graduate with high honors and score her an internship at Wayne Enterprises. Pamela then proposed her pheromone pills to Bruce Wayne, and he was like, wait, so these are basically mind control pills? Heck no. So Bruce Wayne fired Pamela and gained control over her research so she couldn't pitch the idea to anyone else. And that's what led her to a military-funded research program led by Dr. Woodrue. And Dr. Woodrue would inject Pamela with various poisons and toxins, and that put her in a coma. But when she woke up from the coma, she was transformed into Poison Ivy. So what exactly are Poison Ivy's powers? Poison Ivy has a mystical connection to all plant life, so she can cause them to grow at a rapid rate, and she can manipulate and animate the plants so they can basically walk around like living beings and attack people. Poison Ivy also gives off a pheromone that makes men and women attracted and subservient to her, to the point where they'll even kill for her. It's scary. She can regenerate lost limbs, and she has so much toxin in her blood that getting a kiss from her is fatal. As Poison Ivy, she used her powers to lash out at humanity, attacking Gotham City and anyone who endangered plant life in the world. And this would cause her to clash with superheroes like Batman and the Justice League quite often. And eventually her powers would grow to a global scale, to the point where she was even able to take over the entire world. But Poison Ivy was also an understandable villain, because a lot of the people that she would attack, you're like, they kind of deserve it. But she was even a hero from time to time, joining superhero teams like the Birds of Prey and even the Justice League at one point. But now let's talk about her romantic relationships, because I love love and I love to talk about it. Poison Ivy is bisexual in the comics, and while she is known for being very seductive, relationships weren't really her thing, but there were a couple scattered throughout her history. Like firstly, Bella Garden, and I'm sure there's a plant joke in there somewhere. She was a fellow researcher in the experiment that turned Pamela into Poison Ivy, but as the experiments were starting to get more extreme, Bella decided to leave and Pamela wouldn't go with her. And then you have Dr. Woodrue himself, though I would say this relationship was mostly manipulative, as he was constantly experimenting and basically torturing Poison Ivy. But by far the best and most famous relationship that Poison Ivy has is with Harley Quinn. They met while they were both imprisoned in Arkham Asylum, and they became best friends, but eventually they became lovers, and in some storylines even got married. And considering their past trauma and how they're both off and on villains, they managed to have a stable and healthy relationship, and I love it so much. But now let's talk about your answers to the random question, which diet of Poison Ivy's makes the most sense? Now, depending on the comic, Poison Ivy's diet is different. Sometimes she gets energy from the sun, sometimes she only eats fruit, and sometimes she eats meat. To me, I feel like a carnivore diet is a lot more entertaining, because in that way, Poison Ivy is actively getting revenge against the things that are constantly eating plants. I'm just picturing her now going to town on a giant steak, and that's just hilarious to me. But what do you think of Poison Ivy? Where does she rank in your favorite superhero character list? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, go ahead and hit the like button, and then be on the lookout for tomorrow's episode on the Marvel super mutant North Star. And if you missed the previous video talking about Mystique, go ahead and click on the box right here, and I'll see you in a bit.